Samsara, the realms of life, death, and rebirth, and how we burning our karma in this cycle of life and death, even if we born or reincarnate somewhere in so-called heaven. Isn't that interesting? Because heaven is also a part of the samsara. It is the part of the realms of illusion, of the maya, that we all here trapped in the cycle of the loops of reincarnation. So, where is the true liberation? It is the state of moksha. Now, let me focus more in general. What is samsara is? Samsara in Sanskrit word, it just means it's wandering. You know, it's like a spirit, but wandering around in the realms of life and death, and then born again in a different physical forms, or perhaps born as an angelic being, or perhaps born as the asura, which is the demons, or perhaps born as an animal, whatever it is. It is part of the cycle of this realm that trapping us as a soul, as the Atma that we are. We are the Atma. And we have to experience all of this circle of life. What is the point of all of this? It's just basically to experience, but also to burn whatever karma that we have. And the thing about samsara is, if you're looking at the position, there is like a face here. You see? And now you see what kind of face it resembles. If you say that it resembles like Rahu, yes, it is. It is. Yeah. That is why in these realms of samsara, the the head itself, if you're looking at it, is like it's biting this circle, that kind of wheel of life. This is the life here. This is like the circles of life, like good, bad, high and up, high and low, heaven and hell. This is the part of the samsara. Now, Rahu, it represents desire. Whatever that we have, the desire we have in our past life, either you want to be something, you want to be whatever it is in your mind, that desire is being captured in the universe. And that is why in Hinduism, this head it represents Rahu. Because in the end of the day, the reasons why we born in this lifetime, whatever it is, it could be in this earthly realm, or perhaps in different lokas, because every levels of lokas, there is different levels of places, and we are in the middle, by the way. And this loka that we called earth is called the Buddha loka. This is between the heaven and also, you know, a part of the lower lokas. I wouldn't say that the lower lokas, when it comes to, you know, like a patala loka or a sutala loka, where the Lord Bali is seated, the one that controlled sutala loka. I don't say that it is a place of suffering and also a place of, you know, torturing. That's not what it is in the actual place of those lower lokas. The funny thing about this place, though, if you think that this is more of like a suffering, the thing is, the lowest loka, the lowest loka is called patala loka. Now, the thing about this realm, that there is a lot about pleasures, enjoyment, and even you call it a pleasures of sex. But it is extremely strong in that realms of loka. Now, why this considered lower loka? The reason is because the soul that borns in the lower loka like Patalaloka, Satuloka. Because the soul doesn't really learn how to grow themselves spiritually. Because when it comes to spiritual realm, there is a lack of directions that teaches the soul to learn what is God, what is the higher, thing beside these pleasures. Because in this locus, you can see it in this locus, they all just indulge themselves with the pleasures, like partying, having, like a lot of money. I wouldn't say money because I don't think they're using money. It's more of like a gemstones, the gold and everything. The energy is just so beautifully magnifying, making the soul. It just allured to this realm, and they forgot that behind all those, beautiful magnetic things, the soul purpose is basically to go back to where we are, which is Mushka. And that is the reasons why this locus is considered the lowest locus. And because the natures of this realm doesn't really support spiritual, revolution, spiritual evolution, they are being trapped in this cycle for many years to come. And that is why their suffering is just mostly from the spiritual side of life. They have everything. They are not suffering when it comes to, a basic need, food, sex, and, desires to indulge themselves into beautiful things. But when it comes to a spiritual evolution, they lack of it. Now, the Bhuta Loka, where we are currently, is in the middle. It's in the middle of this. This is the realm that we lived in, the earth that we live in. There is it's like a between yin and yang, good and bad, because it is in the middle. There is a between balance of good and bad in this realm. But of course, when it comes to the realms of earth, we see that certain things happening, suffering is happening, but also pleasure is also happening somewhere. You can see that, like for example, the war is happening somewhere, but then you see these celebrities having just some kind of like pleasures, enjoyment, and just enjoying life. It also happened in this realm, and that is what you call it. In Sanskrit word, it's called Advikata. It means that between good and bad, it is exactly happening in this realm. Suffering, but also, pleasures. It's messy, you see the good side of everything, but also the bad side of everything. Now, the higher realms like Satya Loka around here, this above this place. It's like a Tapaloka, Janaloka, Satyaloka, you name it. There's all the lokas where the angels, you can see like the angel is flying here. And there's like a cloud of heavens, heavenly realms. But like in lower sloka, in this lokas, uh, the lower sloka, but in heavenly, like lighter lokas, this where the angels, the devas lived. Devas means gods. This where the angels and also someone who done something like a really good deeds that they in this life, in this earthly life, they spend times doing a lot of spiritual, retreats, spiritual inclination and everything. They spend times in this higher realm, in this higher state. But again, even in any of this realm, these are still in the illusions of what? Of samsara. It is all in the realms of samsara between life, death, and rebirth. It's not a permanent thing, by the way. No, it isn't. But wherever it is, you incarnate in this life or in somewhere in different lokas. It's all the illusions of the samsara. The true liberation, it's called mushka. And that is where, when any of this thing, it doesn't happen. But instead, when we completely remove ourselves to these realms, and finally go back to where we originally come from, which is in mushka, is in the state of what, of Brahma. There is nothing in there but a complete bliss of all things. In this life, you experience all things in one place, and that liberations can set you free from all this illusion of life. And that's what you call it, the samsara, circle of life, death, and rebirth. But truly though, truly, to achieve mushka, it is extremely difficult. Not saying that everyone's is not able to get into that positions of mushka. We all will eventually go back to where we come from. But it takes time. It takes a lot of dedication and letting go of any attachment, any kind of attachment, even the heaven realm, even the you call it pleasures. Who doesn't like pleasures? Who doesn't want to experience good things, right? It's normal to experience all that kind of stuff, but to achieve a true liberations, one have to let go of desires. And when it finally arrive, the timing, because everything takes time. Everything has its time, and that is why when it comes to these realms of samsara, Saturn is also the one and that shows you your karma. That parapadan karma is the reasons why you are born in these realms of samsara. But the ultimate truth of what is Saturn is teaching to us, to all the souls in this realm, is to teach us that the illusion is not what you think it is. The true liberations is not in here, but somewhere where Brahman is sitting. And when you achieve that liberations, that mushka, you can even see Brahman itself. And in there, but there is nothing but what? A bliss. A lot of bliss. Not because of the external enjoyment of pleasures. No, nothing like that. But the pleasures of what? Of seeing all the things that is happening in this circle of samsara.